I've got huge crypto adoption news for you. 2 new stablecoins are being added to the XRP Ledger. This comes a week after the Singapore dollar stablecoin was added to the XRP Ledger. And FIFA is going to build on the Avalanche blockchain. And R3 is partnering with Solana. And Kraken is about to unleash tokenized stocks globally. I'll give you all the details. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, I quickly want to touch on Bitcoin because yesterday while we were recording the podcast, the price was crossing 110,000. Well, later in the night, Bitcoin continued its move, crossing $111,000. It went close to $112,000, but has cooled down since. At the time of recording, it's at $111,288. So as we've been talking about, there's room for more upside here. And the weekly chart looks bullish. Today, I put out a newsletter highlighting all the bullish factors. So check out that newsletter. It's 100% free, and you can find a lot of the updates there. So we're going to watch Bitcoin closely to see how high this rally goes, because you know there's going to be rotation of liquidity down to the altcoins. And I know many of you hold altcoins. So patience is the key here, and let Bitcoin do its thing. This is how the market works, right? Bitcoin dominance is spiking right now. Bitcoin is leading the charge, grabbing the liquidity, and then it's going to hit its overbought zone. Then rotation of liquidity will hit the altcoins, guys. We've seen this time and time again. So very good sign here as Bitcoin continues its run. And you can see here from this great chart from Rect Capital that the bull market is still in progress and we still have more upside, folks. So it's looking really good. And look, Bitcoin hitting $111,000 on Bitcoin Pizza Day is incredible. Many of you may know the story, but 15 years ago, Laszlo Hanyecz, if I'm saying that right, bought 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin. The Bitcoin is now worth $1.2 billion. I don't know how this man lives with himself, but look, money isn't everything in life, but that is a massive, massive loss. But this is why we buy the dips and sell the rips. We don't just use the crypto on things like pizzas and so forth. But look, I can't judge the man. This was a very early in Bitcoin's life cycle. But, we still kind of celebrate the day because it was one of the early transactions of crypto being used for real world purchases. So, hopefully Laszlo went and bought the dips in the cycles following, and he maybe learned from that, right? But folks, my sponsor Trezor, they are celebrating Bitcoin Pizza Day by giving 41% off Model 1 and Model T hardware wallets. That's a huge discount. You just have to use the code PizzaDay25. I'll put the code in the description, and you can get free shipping on any of the products as well. So this offer is available from May 22nd through May 29th. So once again, 41% off the Model 1 and Model T hardware. And if you use PizzaDay25, you can get free shipping globally on any product. That's an amazing deal. And many of you know I'm a user of the hardware wallets. I use the Trezor Safe 5. So Trezor is the leader in this space. They are the ones who created the hardware wallets, created the seed phrase setup, and much more. Their hardware wallets are open source, and they support a variety of tokens, folks. I'm talking Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, Solana, and all the major top altcoins, even new coins that are being introduced into the market. So if you'd like to learn more, visit the link. And like I said, use that code and you can check out the models. They have 41% off. It's an incredible deal. So check out the links in the description, folks. All right, moving ahead, we have huge news around the XRP Ledger. And folks, many of you know I hold XRP in my portfolio. I am bullish on XRP, and that is based on the facts and the charts, not emotions. I'm not here for tribalism and all that stuff. I hold multiple coins. But we continue to see that the XRP Ledger is getting incredible adoption. Folks, Brazos Group new USD-backed stablecoin, USDB, is launching on the XRP Ledger, giving individuals and institutions a seamless and secure way to move value across borders. With both USDB and BBRL on the XRPL, Brazos is creating a scalable bridge between traditional finance and crypto in Latin America. That's number one. Now look at number two. Schumann Financial's EuroP, if I'm saying that right, becomes the first MiCA-compliant Euro stablecoin on the XRP Ledger. Wow, that is huge, folks. You got Latin America covered. That's a big market. And Europe under the MiCA regulations on the XRP ledger. There's going to be a lot of haters. XRP sucks, blah, 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 blah. I don't care what they say. I don't care about feelings and emotions. I care about facts. And this is facts. This is why I'm bullish on XRP. This is what you want to see if you're investing in a project. And I'm not telling you to go buy XRP. I'm just sharing the facts with you, reporting the news here. But in principle, this is what you want to see. So this is huge news for the XRP ledger, getting stablecoins from across the globe to be built on the XRP ledger. And I've told you guys many times, what helps blockchains to have value in their native tokens to have value is network effects. Metcalfe's law and Reed's law, go research it. Network effects. So the more participants on a blockchain, the more users, the more valuable it becomes, the more stronger the network becomes, and the more valuable the native token becomes. This can be applied to all blockchains. Look at Ethereum with all the ICOs and the NFTs and all these things that were built on it, helped it to raise in value, and obviously its native token Ether to raise in value. So that is why network effects, network adoption is important. So this is a very good sign. Now, this news comes literally days after we heard that StraitsX was launching a Singapore dollar pegged stablecoin XSGD on the XRP ledger. Singapore, Latin America, Europe with the MiCA compliant stablecoin, and of course, Ripple has its own stablecoin, RLUSD. And I expect more folks to build stablecoins and other tokenized assets on the XRP ledger. Ripple has a huge network with banks and payment service providers in different parts of the world. Huge news. Haters gonna hate, haters gonna cry, but I'm just sharing the facts, right? Again, I'm not here for emotions. I'm not here for tribalism. I'm here to make money. And this is huge news, guys. So if you are an XRP holder, you should feel really bullish that this type of adoption is happening because this is the facts now, not speculation, not some fancy fairy tale or something like that. It's the rubber meeting the road. So the huge news here. And look at this. Along the lines of XRP, R3, which, has been struggling. They were looking to be sold. They were building like private blockchains. They had a partnership with Ripple and a big fallout over the years. But R3's Corda is integrating with Solana. So they tweeted out R3's Corda, the world's largest collection of permissioned RWA networks with over $10 billion in regulated assets on chain across its platforms, is integrating with the world's most used public blockchain. Interesting move here. A couple of takeaways. Big deal for Solana because they're getting R3, but I'm not too sure what the hell R3 is doing, because they've had these problems over the years, but maybe they're having a resurgence here because what have we been talking about? Private permission blockchains like JP Morgan's Quorum and the others, IBM's Hyperledger. Nobody wants to use that shit. Why would I trust your centralized blockchain? And they're waking up to it. So they're trying to create bridges to public blockchains. What did JP Morgan just do? They bridged to Ondo, right? So I hope you see what's happening. The public blockchains are the way to go. That doesn't mean permission blockchains won't exist within, let's say JP Morgan so they can do their internal transactions. That's fine. But you can't expect Bank of America or somebody else to plug into it. Why the hell would I want to do that when it's a walled garden? So I think a lot of these folks are recognizing, we got to plug into these public blockchains. They try to usurp the public blockchains and it didn't work. And that's why you see BlackRock and these other folks are tokenizing on the public versions of Ethereum and Solana and much more. So this is a huge capitulation right here, folks. And it just continues to show the movement towards public blockchains. Really incredible stuff. Now, look at this. Avalanche, which is a great blockchain. I hold the token AVAX. Just the other day, we talked about them getting Van Eck to build on them a platform called Purpose Built. And today, FIFA, my soccer football fans know what I'm talking about here. They are going to build on the Avalanche blockchain. So the news is FIFA taps Avalanche for own EVM compatible network, plans to migrate NFT collection from Algorand and Polygon. So huge adoption for Avalanche, and they are getting a lot of adoption. They've been doing some test runs with Citibank and doing a lot more. I've had John Wu of Ava Labs on the podcast a few times over the years, so I'll try to get them back on to talk about this. But this is adoption, folks. FIFA is no joke, in the sports industry or in the football industry. So this is, once again, what you want to see. Really great news here. Now, look at this. Kraken Exchange is going to offer tokenized US stocks to users worldwide. Folks, what have we been talking about? 24/7 trading markets, assets that were not accessible to users globally can now be accessed, fractionalization, a lot of liquidity, secondary, tertiary markets. This is what we've been talking about. This is just even the tip of the iceberg here. So Kraken plans to offer tokenized stocks for Apple, Tesla, and Nvidia. What's the example I've given many times? Not everyone in the world can access the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ, but you throw it on the blockchain and it becomes a global market. And that's why crypto, these tokens outside of tokenized stocks, have such a huge potential. That's why they've been rising. They've been having these exponential moves because they are truly hard capped, like Bitcoin, only 21 million. And there's on and off ramps to anyone in the world who has a smartphone and an internet connection. That's all you need. Versus the New York Stock Exchange, not everyone can access that, right? But someone has a smartphone, they could be in the middle of some country in Africa. They could be in Antarctica with Starlink or something, and then they can, buy a fraction of Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum. You can't do that for other stuff. So this is why it's amazing, folks. This is why this technology and this asset class is a game changer. And not a lot of people understand it. So if you count yourself lucky, you understand it. You're an early adopter and you are educated here and you have the ability to make some incredible returns to ride this adoption wave, the S-curve adoption, and profit from it. Now, we have some interesting news out of the CFTC. So CFTC's Mersinger says crypto perpetual futures could trade in the US. So we're going to start to see more financial products open up in the United States, things that were available overseas where people had to fake their IP addresses and so forth, which, look, I'm not endorsing that. I'm just saying that's what was happening, because people wanted to trade crypto in different ways, but the US regulations wouldn't allow it. You're going to start to see a lot of these things open up. So this is really great, folks. We're going to see a lot more building and innovation and more financialization of the asset class here in the United States. Now, nature continues to heal with scammers and scumbags being put into jail. We had FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried going to jail. We had recently Alex Mashinsky get sentenced. And here, former SafeMoon CEO John Caroni has been convicted on all charges by a New York jury, including conspiracy to defraud the United States, money laundering, and wire fraud. So when SafeMoon was around in the last cycle, I was like, this is a scam, man. And a lot of people were throwing hate at me. I remember people coming, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, this is a scam. And lo and behold, here it is. So this is where you need to be careful, right? Research, watch what people are doing, understand that people can be doing certain types of Ponzi's and so forth. Now, this is not exclusive to crypto. They've done this stuff in the TradFi world, right? Many times over. I mean, just look at Bernie Madoff. In a fully regulated Wall Street environment, this man was running a Ponzi. Just imagine that. Right? Crypto is very young and it's not even regulated yet. And of course, you're going to have bad actors come in. That doesn't mean the technology inherently is bad. It's actually great. It's going to change the world. But there's always bad actors coming into any technology. They're going to do it for AI. They're going to do it for robotics to try to scam you. This is human society, civilization, right? This is things that have played out. So this is where you have to be diligent and do your research and make sure you cross all your T's and dot all your I's. So great to see scammers and fraudsters being put away here. Now, final news item, Congressman French Hill, who's been a frequent guest on this podcast, he sets a markup date for the House's crypto market structure bill on June 10th. So we know right now the Senate is making progress on the stablecoin bill. The market structure is the big one for, the altcoins and what's a security, what's not a security and so forth. This is going to be the bill with the meat and potatoes of how this market's going to be regulated. Again, nothing against stablecoin. Stablecoin is great, but that has a single lane. It's the dollar tokenized, right? There's not much more than that. But crypto market structure is going to touch on airdrops, NFTs, utility tokens, borrowing, lending, all kinds of stuff. It's more complex, right? But great to see we're making progress, folks. And boy, we could see Congress get legislation through, and that could signal the top of the market. I'm not saying it will, I'm saying it could. It's a possibility. When you have these type of major events, right? And there's a run up, there's the buy the rumor, sell the news, and then we'll have to watch it closely by looking at the charts and the on-chain data, the macro, global liquidity, all these things to know where we're at in the cycle so that we walk away from this market with profits. We do not want to ride the wave to the bear market and not have any money in our pockets, okay? So remember, our gains right now that we're seeing are unrealized. Until you take profits, then it becomes realized gains. I know you watch out. You're going to see some people say, "Why would you want to get fiat currency? Why would you want to cash out?" Hey, look, man, if you're already a billionaire and a multimillionaire, good for you. Not everyone is in the same financial situation, but watch out for those people, right? Because they never shared their portfolio. They never share if they're actually taking profits or not. You don't know, right? They're just throwing these things out. Usually they're people who want you to stay in the market so that they can exit. They don't want you all exiting because they want the price to go higher, but we're not going to get fooled by that. Now, the caveat, if you have a very long-term view, you don't need money right now. Good for you. Nothing wrong with that. And you want to leave your crypto and ride to the bear market bottom, then God bless. That's a decision you can make. I think the majority of people watching and listening here want to get some money to get some financial freedom, pay off some debt, put some money in your retirement, spend a little. That's what I'm going to do, right? And we want to make sure we're using the opportunity because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity because we're so early. Eventually, this market's going to mature where there's going to be a lot of liquidity, a lot of institutional players. The ETFs are going to hold a lot of assets. You're not going to get the same returns, right? So this is like entering early into certain technologies like Web2, getting into the stocks of Facebook and Amazon and so forth. You guys understand what I mean? So it's the early adopter phase that can make significant returns here. So it's certainly a once in a lifetime opportunity. Anyway, folks, let me know what you think about the news. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. A great way you can support me in the podcast is by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It's 100% free. Link will be in the description. Check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. And check out my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you every aspect of crypto, and you will hear from experts such as founders, CEOs, and institutional investors. So if you'd like to learn more, go to mycryptocourse.com. Folks, thank you for watching and listening. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.